New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio was under fire after lashing out at mourners reportedly gathered for the funeral of a Hasidic rabbi. That gathering took place in defiance of the city's social distancing guidelines. These images show some of the mourners tightly packed on the street as police came to disperse the crowd. Some, but reportedly not all, of those that gathered wore face coverings. After ordering and overseeing this dispersal of the mourners, Mayor de Blasio tweeted this: "My message to the Jewish community and all communities is this simple. The time for warnings has passed," calling the large funeral gathering, quote, "absolutely unacceptable," adding, "What I saw will not be tolerated so long as we are fighting the coronavirus." Joining me now on Skype to talk more about this is Montse Alvarado, Vice President and Executive Director at Becket, a nonprofit law firm dedicated to protecting religious freedom. Montse, thanks so much for coming on the show again. Good to see you.
Thank you so much. So good to be with you, Tracy.
So, Montse, Mayor de Blasio is receiving a lot of criticism for his remarks. What was your reaction when you first heard them?
You know, it's unfortunate. The first time that you hear someone make a comment about the pandemic in haste, which is something that he did a couple of weeks ago, you think, okay, he's trying to respond to a crisis, and you try to explain it because it's not excusable. But then all of a sudden you sit there and you realize that it really is targeting, that he's singling out one community, and that's unacceptable. There is no way that should be okay, and that should be in any way allowed to stand.
I know the mayor angered a lot of people, in particular the Jewish community in New York, many of whom say his comments generalize the city's Jewish population. Now, others say his comments were especially insensitive in light of recent rash of hate crimes targeting Jews in New York. What are your thoughts, and do you think those comments, Montse, could lead to further divisions and possibly even worse?
The role of our civil leaders is to unite us. And anytime that you have comments like this, you are inciting both violence and maybe even, and as you said, division. That is problematic. In times of crisis, we don't forfeit our civil liberties or our civility. I think that's one piece that we have to remember, that we want to act united, and that our leaders should be coming together to protect us. And Ted Cruz, I know the senator just asked the Department of Justice to look into the way that these laws are being formulated, these shelter-in-place laws, but also just looking out for precisely this kind of targeting, these kind of religious communities being singled out because of what they believe and who they are, and the long record of hatred against them within the cities and local communities.
Montse, we don't have a lot of time, but I do want to ask you this. You know, in his defense, de Blasio said that his responses were not about singling out the Orthodox Jewish community because of its religion, but were out of frustration over seeing the large size of gatherings. However, some people say the mayor is being a little hypocritical because no warnings or summonses were issued to those New Yorkers who watched the flyovers honoring healthcare workers on that very same day. Now, that said, do you think there's a double standard when it comes to issues of faith?
He has a bad record with the Jewish community, and precisely the violence that we've seen against that community tells us that an apology for hurtful comments, as he put it, is just not enough. A pandemic is not an excuse for comments to be made that make people feel like they are not safe in their own homes.
Montse, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Hope to see you again.
Absolutely. Thank you.